The Chicago Bears have made a trade per Jay Glazer. The Chicago Bears sign or trade for Keenan Allen for a fourth round pick. This is such an interesting move for the Chicago Bears. Welcome into the Chicago Bears podcast. Pat the designer back at it again. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Listen, interesting move by the Bears to go out and trade for Keenan Allen because the implications of what kind of receiver that he can be as your number two guy next to DJ Moore are just so interesting. You're talking about a 1,200 plus yard guy, does deal with some injury, has dealt with some injury throughout his career, but now you're asking him to come in here and be your number two guy. I think this is such a good move for the Bears. I think that this is a solid move, and this speaks to what does it speak to? That's the real question, because I think that the options are still endless with this. Let me know how you guys feel about the Keenan Allen signing in the comments below. Do you love this signing? Do you hate this signing? Drop a bear down no matter what. We'll be down there talking with you guys in the comments as well. Here's my biggest question with all of this, right? I think this sets you up for an opportunity to go out and draft Caleb Williams number one. I think this is a really good move by the Bears that sets you up with some options there, because the biggest question I had coming into today was, how do you build the rest of the team without having addressed that wide receiver position? How do you go out and get the wide receiver knowing you need to address that in the draft? Okay, you addressed it in the draft. Now you can't fix the O-line. Now you're in a special situation where if you take Caleb Williams number one, you've still got options with the number 9 overall pick. As you trade back there, you can still go out and get JPJ. Still allows yourself to go out and get some more weapons as well if needed. Maybe address some more on the offensive line. Maybe address some more on the wide receiver tip. I like a name like Brendan Rice. Courtney Cronin brought that up over here on the Chicago Bears podcast a couple of weeks ago. Really good name that you can add in as well. And realistically speaking, fourth round compensation is where the Chicago Bears have begun with the Justin Fields conversation. So if you're talking about fourth round compensation, you're replacing the fourth rounder that you just got, probably getting a little bit worse on that fourth rounder, but you're replacing a fourth rounder that you just ended up moving on from. You still got 2 picks in the fourth round, still a lot of options in that fourth round. You can still add in the draft. I think that those are a couple of nice moves there if you do end up taking Caleb Williams. Now, of course, everybody's going to look at it and say, well, what if you want to go out and you want to add MHJ? You've got that option as well. Maybe you're more of a Justin Fields person. Maybe you feel like Justin Fields is the best option for the Chicago Bears moving forward. You trade back, you take MHJ, still allows you to go out there and address the offensive line with JPJ. The 9th pick does not change in this situation. That whole situation is still the same, but maybe now you go and get one of those later picks. Maybe if you see one of those guys fall right, you take MHJ 2 or 3. You see maybe an Olu Fashanu or a Joe Alt fall in the draft, still opens up the options for you there. Love the fact that the Bears have that opportunity, and now you move back down and you can add maybe a Cedric Van Pran in that 3rd round. There's still options to address the offensive line. You go out and you sign an offensive lineman, a center today. I think that that opens up a lot of opportunity for the Bears as well, and the ability to be able to go out there and still, now you kind of set yourself up in that Bengals situation. Now you kind of set yourself up where you've got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, MHJ, a young guy. And yeah, the Bengals are in a position right now where they got to pay guys, and guys aren't happy that they're getting franchise tags and stuff like that. But guess what? Since then, the Bengals have been a 12-plus win team. They've been to the Super Bowl. They did not win the Super Bowl, but they've been to the Super Bowl. We can't get in the first round of the playoffs. Let's get into the first round of the playoffs here, guys. I think that that's one of those scenarios where you talk about if you're holding on to Justin Fields, even if Justin Fields doesn't work out, you look around a couple of years later, maybe take a young quarterback or add in one of these veteran quarterbacks that ends up moving around. Guess what? They're coming into a situation with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and MHJ. Maybe you're moving on from Keenan Allen at that point, but now you've still got MHJ, DJ Moore on the roster again, because Keenan Allen's contract up in 2024. Do the Bears end up extending him? That's something that you also have to look at as well. A 32-year-old receiver, big body receiver, 6'3". We know what kind of speed he brings, know the footwork, know the hands that he brings. As a number 2 guy, I'm not mad at Keenan Allen coming into the building at all. And I think it opens up so many options just from a receiver standpoint for the Chicago Bears moving forward. Let me know how you feel about that deal. And I got to give credit to the super producer, Joel Holt from the Windy City Breeze, one of my guys out here, man. Big love to him. He came up with a deal that, my God, may be the best deal that I've heard of all. Yes, you do end up keeping Justin Fields in this situation, but we're not asking about the offensive line anymore with this. He talked about moving back. I said, right, I added to the deal, you trade back. You trade back to 6 with the Giants, who have called, who have had interest in moving up into the top 3 in this draft. Maybe they end up with Caleb Williams. Hey, there's no offensive line there. Feel bad for you, Caleb. Have a great time. Running backs, who knows? Who cares? Wide receivers, ugly out there. Defense, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, all of that is not a pretty situation for Caleb Williams if he goes to the Giants. But you trade back to that 6th pick with the Giants. You take a Joe Alt and or an Olu Fashanu. I think both will still be on the board at that point. So Joe Alt may be your guy at the number 9 pick. Maybe you trade. Oh, by the way, in that trade back, you get more capital there, right? It's not like you're just moving straight back to 6. You move back to 6, you're probably getting a second, maybe some future picks along with that as well. You're probably also adding in, I don't know, probably some more picks this year, maybe a 5 or a 6 this year as well. 2 coming into next season. Like, you like the options that you have from New York there because New York's desperate for some quarterback play in the building. Now you've got your left tackle addressed. I'm not a fan of Braxton Jones. We had Brandon Thorne on this podcast. Braxton Jones, to me, is not an optimal answer for the Chicago Bears moving forward. I think that he's a nice run blocker, maybe a nice swing tackle, but not a guy that you want being on the left side of either a rookie quarterback or Justin Fields, for that matter, moving forward. I like the options that you have taking Joe Alt. And then with that 9th pick, listen, you trade back again because you have the opportunity to go get a guy like JPJ. Now you're talking about addressing the center and your left tackle in the first round of this draft, adding multiple picks on to what the Chicago Bears currently have, which is now 4 picks in this year's draft. Let me double check that as well. Let me do a refresh on the old Adam Schefter page, because we heard that it was a 4th round pick. I never got confirmation that it was a 4th round pick this year. I'm checking on Shefty's page. I still don't see any difference. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are seeing that. It is this year. Okay, I'm getting the confirmation from our producer, the super producer Joe Holt, in the back that it is this year's pick. Shout out to the super producer Joe Holt. No, realistically, when you're talking about, okay, now you have 4 picks in this draft, you're talking about adding possibly 2 to 3 more picks in this draft by trading back twice. The Giants moving from 6 to 1. What's that going to get you? Maybe that gets you your 3 techniques of the future. Yeah, anybody interested in Dexter Lawrence? Anybody? I'm interested. I'm always interested. I'm not saying that I'm out on Javon Dexter, but listen, you're adding a guy that is a proven guy there. You're fixing your first round, what you would hope would be the future of this offensive line. You're putting a quarterback back there that seems like he's going to end up being now in a situation where he can thrive, where he can have some success, or you have a quarterback realistically. So this is a 2024 4th round pick, the 110th pick in the draft. So not bad there. That's even the lower of the 2 picks there. So you feel a little bit better about that. I just got that confirmation there. But realistically speaking, you fix your offensive line in the 1st round. You now have options in the 2nd round to do whatever the heck you want. 3rd round, maybe you can go wide receiver. 2nd round, maybe you can go wide receiver. I think there's a ton of options on the table there. The Bears now are in a position where earlier today, when you didn't address the defensive end, when you didn't address anything on the defensive side, I looked and I was like, listen, I don't know what the heck we're doing here, but we might be in a situation where we're not going to be able to fix everything for Caleb Williams as he comes in. Now, whether you go Justin Fields, whether you go Caleb Williams, you can fix everything that the Chicago Bears need to fix coming into this season. I doubted Ryan Poles for 40 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, the doubt is over. King Poles back in the building. In Ryan Poles we trust. And King Poles we trust. Look at him. Look at that tongue out there. We already know what type of time he's on. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I want to hear from you, the fans. What are your thoughts on this trade that the Chicago Bears have made for Keenan Allen? What does that mean for the Bears' future moving forward? As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love. Peace.